We are live.
And away we go.
All right.
All right.
Let's make sure we're all good here. Get the session up and
Oh,
running.
reconsider it in the house.
All right. Yep, we're already good. All right. What is good, everybody? Here we are
What's
in
up,
this
bud?
pop-up stream over here. We got I'm the One Son in the house. And we are here to talk about this and, kind of reassure some of our friends here who do music and are kind of bummed out over potentially losing their favorite streaming platform or whatever they're
Man,
doing. Mostly this is going to be about music, not TikTok. I don't really like to do the zeitgeist type reaction, but we have a lot of friends out there who utilize this platform and are affected by the decision making. However it goes in the end. So I am the one son. We're having a conversation and we're just like, you know what? Let's just go live with this
yeah.
because, the biggest thing here is that, a lot of these, especially the younger generation, are just realizing with their income cut off all of a sudden that, they're just sitting to themselves like, damn.
I need a job. I gotta get a job.
What
Hold
do
up.
we
He said he got
here?
some feedback. Apollo Hanzo said he's getting some feedback. What's up, Apollo?
Apollo. Reconsider music. Okay, let's see.
So we got some
technical
feedback.
issues going on. What do we got here? Okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit of feedback.
Well, I could hear through there. Now we get.
Are you still getting the feed? The Apollo, you still getting that feedback? That
Let me take.
Get some echo.
Is that what it is? Is it echo going on here? May be able to take care of some of that over here in the session. Just want to make sure.
Let's make sure our echo cancellation is operating.
Is that on your end? Because we tested this before and make sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were good last time.
Yeah,
so
we were good last time. So let's see. Here.
Check
Got
this
all our
audio.
settings good. Audio settings. What do we need to do here? Original sound for musicians. Let's see, we're supposed to test. You see my screen over here? We good.
Yeah, echo cancellation is on. Let me see if let me turn off stereo audio.
Okay. We want to make sure we get this right.
Reconsider it said sounds good to him.
Okay. So there's no delay or echo or anything like that? You guys can't hear any feedback? Here, let me see. So what we got going in here?
Because we got to make sure we good.
Okay. Sounds like we're good.
Okay, cool.
Don't hear any feedback delay. Sounds good. What about you, Apollo? We good? Just want to make sure that we're straight here. Last thing we need to be doing is half stepping on our audio when we're talking about audio and audio production.
Absolutely.
That's the last thing we need to do up in here. So let's get this over to the homie.
Okay, so Apollo's still getting some feedback, and Reconsider it said he's good.
It is still there, he says. Okay, so what kind of feedback? Is it echoing in the thing? And that's because we might have to set up something real quick and try to help this along. Just want to make sure everything's everything.
Yeah, all that echo cancellation is good on my end. I got mine set up to make sure there's no loop back going on.
Yeah, and I just don't want to exit out anything that's going to close us in the program. We could set it up here.
Yeah, he's hearing it like, yeah, it's coming to him like it's like a loop back.
Okay. Is anybody else out there getting a loop back to where our stuff is feeding back? Because Apollo Hanzo's getting a feedback, and I just want to make sure that nobody else is getting a feedback and everything's good on our end before we get started, especially having a conversation about all this. So I want to make sure that everything's everything. Go in the...
Let me turn off the echo cancellation and see if that works.
Tracker Jack says it sounds okay.
Okay.
So Apollo, you might want to check real quick and see how things are on your end. because it seems like it sounds good over here.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any feedback on this end over on our side. Unity, you want to let us know if we got any loop back or anything between us before we get started? We're trying to set this up here, and Apollo says that there's a bit of a delay and like a loop back or whatever with our chat. We want to make sure that we ain't half stepping on the audio before we get started. Talking about
Indeed.
audio.
Indeed.
Sounds
Okay.
good so
Sound
far.
good so
says.
far. Okay.
Okay.
So, Apollo, I think maybe, because you're transmitting from Mount Olympus, you might be getting some loop back.
Okay, let me get everybody real quick on the intro
Okay,
here.
he said it's good. He's good now. Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Okay. We got track, unit, George. Okay, so welcome everybody. So like I said, I'm not a big fan of doing zeitgeist type reaction content, especially
Exactly.
when it comes to this. And I'm not on TikTok, so I'm not affected by this. And we'll get into that later. I don't know about you, son. Are you on? Do you tick on the talk, sir?
I never tick on the talk. You know what I'm saying? The only time I'm doing is if I'm trying to punch the clock for real money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, so this seems to be a common thread among us older generation here. I say that loosely because we're Gen Z, so we're about to get the keys to the castle and everything as far as our generation once this old guard's done. And it seems like most of us haven't hopped on or don't take advantage of TikTok, so we're not really impacted the way that a lot of people are. But at the same time, a lot of people are, and a lot of people in our generation, millennials and everybody, it's not a generational thing. This is just a music thing, and because it's a music thing, I felt the need to address it, and we were just talking personally over the phone, and we were having an interesting conversation. We're like, you know what, let's go live with this. As much as we didn't want to do it as far as zeitgeist type stuff or whatever, we got some pretty good information here as far as our contributions to the conversation,
Right.
and hopefully it'll help people cope with this madness that might not even be an issue come tomorrow. But we'll get into all that. I don't know how long we're going to be on. This is just a casual conversation among friends and family over here, and we want to get your guys' input on here. How many of you guys here in the chat tick on the talks and are impacted by this whole move? Whether or not they come back, is besides the point. The point is that as of today, it is shut down, and you can't do nothing if you live in the States.
Right.
What we got here?
So Unity, TikTok is back today, huh?
TikTok is back today already. So there you have it.
And it looks like they had to renege on that deal. But because they had everybody panicking because literally everybody was like, I got to get a job.
Yeah.
So there was panic in the system for sure.
Yeah. And when it comes to these social media platforms, it kind of, with this whole thing, it reminds people of how fragile this digital world is, especially if you're doing music. But the thing that I wanted to address, what we were talking about in the conversation, is people who rely solely or primarily on TikTok to distribute their music, those TikTokers who are doing music and that is their main source of revenue or their top earner out of all their sources of revenue, and they're highly impacted by this because they haven't put their music anywhere else or anywhere tangible to where they could actually receive the benefits. And what we were getting at here in our conversation was the live performance element and the direct to consumer and all the stuff that we could do alone, separate from these entities. And I say that ironically because we are here on YouTube, which is owned by Google, and you're talking third and fourth party entities over here that kind of control our workspace when we exist within this space here. But at the same time, if YouTube were to shut down tomorrow, would we be over here as musicians? Would we stop doing music? And, the answer to that is hell no, and the thing is, though, is that how bad are you going to be impacted? And this goes a lot further than TikTok, YouTube, you also have streaming platforms like Spotify and, Apple Music and all these other places that distribute our music. And what happens when those shut down and you can't
Mhm.
distribute your music? What are you going to do? Are you going to be out of luck because you have no local scene developed? You haven't performed live? Do you have physical content? Do you have an email list? Do you have these things that would leverage yourself and
Absolutely.
your music in a position to where you will be minimally impacted by these changes that will take place? Because you guys got to understand, no matter what happens with TikTok coming back, you guys get it back. All this stuff is not going to last forever. And even if it does, you exist within the space within a margin of a percent. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
And the thing is, just so you guys know, I just checked the site. TikTok is still down. It says TikTok is temporarily unavailable. We're working hard to resolve the issue. Thank you for your patience. So they took down their statement about, no matter how you feel about, President Trump, but there was a statement talking about President Trump's going to save the day earlier, and I screenshotted that. That was pretty entertaining. So, and people forget that he was the one that actually wanted to ban it to begin with.
Yeah.
So, crazy thing about this whole thing is that, I constantly hear it where people are always complaining about, not being able to make money, not being able to monetize properly in different spaces on, social media platforms, right? So guys, keep in mind that there are, I think right now, and it's probably increasing as I speak, 620,846 people that actually have YouTube websites that have content on them. Now, keep in mind that less than 1% of all of those users around, and that is YouTube content creators around the world, less than 1% actually make any money. Okay. Now, people say, well, it's because, we don't understand the algorithm, or they don't know how to properly approach the algorithm. Or you got people that are only watching trends, right? So they jump on a trend so they can get a viral video. They can't get a viral beat, but they try to get a viral video, right? So the thing is, they jump all over that and they hope for the best. Like, see, so it's mostly no real strategy, right? They just, let me get a viral video. Hopefully it'll catch on and everybody will love me. And the problem with that is that, keep in mind, you have to repeat that again and again and again for every trend. And if you don't know how to create a consistent narrative that's not based on trends, you can have a kind of a trend concept going on behind the scenes, but it's really about storytelling. It's really about narrative. It's really about people trusting you in order for you to get a formula that works again and again and again, right? But the other aspect of why people are failing right now, and a lot of these people who have done like these things where, and I see your comment too, Unit. I was talking about their primary website. It's still down right now. But another reason why it fails is because people fail to do one major thing. They do not treat their YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, they don't actually treat it as a business. Right. So if you don't treat it as a business, you have no strategy. You're just making content and you're just having fun, which is fine if that's the goal. But if you're actually there to make money, you have to treat it seriously and take care of it like a business.
For sure.
And it's crazy to me how many people don't just have that basic common sense aspect of it, because common sense is not all that common, as we know.
And the crazy part about it too is that even when you take the necessary steps and treat things like a business and move forward with things, it doesn't mean that the work is done and that you could just relax because you're positioning or attempting to leverage your YouTube channel or whatever platform you're on in a certain way. But it's kind of like what Sun was saying, and we talked about this before, about the way that YouTube doesn't like music, and it's not really a matter of like or dislike because there's no feelings when it comes to this kind of thing. It's just the things that are trending to people, and if you're not doing something that's trending, if you're not having a conversation that is within the zeitgeist for that day, because you remember these trends turn off and reset every single day. Sometimes they keep them up for 2 days, sometimes they keep them up for a week, depending on how it's flowing in the zeitgeist. But they get shut down, so you could go way up and then all of a sudden they'll shut down your video, and just people who are within this space as viewers and who ingest this content, they're not as interested in music, in the music space, as say us, the music people. The people who are doing it don't have the audience that the rest of the world has for this zeitgeist type conversation to exist. And because of that, it is heavily complicated, it is difficult, and there are still things that we're trying to figure out as musicians to work our way through these platforms and navigate something that is reasonable so we could actually exist on them full time. And that's what I try to do, is exist on here full time and realize that, wow, it costs a lot. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. You got to learn video editing, graphic design, everything. And if you didn't have those things coming into it, you eventually have to learn those things
Absolutely.
regardless.
Ton of stuff. Either that or you're outsourcing for it, and
Sure.
I'm very grateful to so many people in our realm in this zeitgeist, because I've got people like Viral, I've got so many others that offer advice and offer their help in exchange for other things that I do for them, and then you're able to build businesses in that manner. So yeah. And I saw you reconsider. We got to be 100% intentional and purposeful behind everything that we're doing out here, because like I said, if we're just, making content to make content, that's fine. There's no big deal. But if you're like, hey, I'm trying to make money and I want to monetize and all that, you got to take it serious.
And that's kind of why this is more of a music conversation rather than a TikTok or social media platform
Right.
conversation, because what Reconsider It said here is completely correct. The need to be intentional with the way that you move, especially when it comes to your music. That's why here we don't have gas for equipment. We get what we need. We use our tools and then we get rid of them. We don't sit here and we love the stuff. We love the equipment. We love playing with it, but it doesn't run our life, our space. It doesn't dictate the terms of our music, our content, or anything like that. So, and a lot of people are appreciative of that honesty, but a lot more people want that gas. They want that controversy. They want the thing that is thriving on these platforms, which is that quick, whatever's popular conversation. And that's why our biggest video here on the channel is the Akai conversation that actually started the MPC Gate 2 because of what happened in the comments section. But as much as I did that video and was responsible for throwing it together, that's not the type of content I want to do. And I don't do and haven't done much more of that content because it's all about the music for us. And that was a musical moment and a kind of a piece between people that I wanted to reflect in that. And I had no idea it was going to turn into what it did. But that was
Mhm.
because how it blew up from the people reacting to that video. And with all the engagement and everything like that, it threw it out there. And that's the biggest video, bigger than the Fantom review video, my first really big video. And it just goes to show you the level of what these platforms want you to create. And it's just kind of the antithesis of the way that people move when it comes to making music, which is one of the reasons why it's so difficult for us to exist on these platforms in the first place.
Well said, man. I couldn't agree more. It's true about the equipment too. Like, you and I are very much like minimalists in the game. We create what we need to create. And when we no longer need something, then it's got to go.
Yeah.
And that's, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but down here in the corner, I got some stuff boxed up, getting ready to sell some old stuff right now because I'll use it. And if it's just sitting around, it's like, it's serving no purpose, right? So, like, keep it all about the music, be productive, be intentional, be focused, master your craft. That's where we're at. Like all the other stuff is just gravy. It's like icing on the cake for us. Master your craft, keep working at that, be passionate about it, and it'll all fall in line.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest lessons and the takeaways that I've had on this platform as far as operating as a channel and doing content as a content creator, but I'm not a content creator even though I'm creating content. You know what I mean? I'm a musician first. I'm a producer. I'm trying to make albums here. And there's no trying about it. We're doing it, and we're doing it on the channel and all the videos and everything. If I were doing the zeitgeist type videos, my 560 videos that we've done here would be a lot further in the algorithm as far as subscribers and the way that the content is pushed. But because I do long form content, we just play, we produce and everything, stuff that is not really one of those things that's out there a lot. It's always a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche. It's one thing to like music and exist within that space for already seasoned and established artists. But if you're just coming up and trying to put yourself out there in a real tangible way, there are specific steps that you have to do in music that you would think going on these platforms would have you skip the line. And one thing that you got to realize that there is no line skipping in music. If you skip the line, you're going to be spending all that time in your career trying to chase that success that you once had that you will never be able to replicate because you didn't go through the proper steps of learning the production, learning how to balance yourself through this whole process and through this world and get your stuff out there in a tangible way. And the lesson for me was to get out of what the space of YouTube wanted me because it was affecting the way that I produced music. And once I realized that this space, this platform was suppressing my ability to make music, I shut that down and pivoted my content to stuff that was revolving around the music that I'm making and kind of like what we're doing now here. And this talking stuff and doing all this is helpful. It's helpful to us. It's like therapeutic, and it's also helpful to those who are just trying to find their way and navigate. And that's all we're trying to do here as musicians, is just trying to navigate through this and have some kind of comfortable medium to be able to do this and live our lives and create music all at the same time. But if you're not there musically and you're trying to develop musically while you're trying to develop a channel at the same time, you got to pick one or the other. Either you want to be in the space or you want to do music. You could do both, but you got to be there already. And even me with an audio production career, doing music for 30 years, producing for 20 years, and coming on this platform with a Fantom and starting out with that didn't mean anything within this space. I had to start from scratch. I had to
Facts.
build a community from scratch. It didn't matter that I already had a website and knew graphic design and already had these companies that existed, as Viral Beats is a subsidiary of the record label Virus Music, and so's M Graphics. And I
Mhm.
jumped on this platform with that and still had to start from the very beginning. And it's just such a power struggle between doing the content and doing the music. And you get so wrapped up in the successes here that sometimes you forget, like, oh yeah, I'm a musician and I'm trying to produce records. And
Right.
because we didn't forget that over here, we're like, you know what?
Mhm.
We'll talk about this when it's tangible, when it's helpful, when this stuff comes up and we need to, and we're having this conversation. But we're going to make beats, we're going to make songs, we're going to produce, and even if people don't like it, it doesn't matter because somebody will, and you still have a purpose beyond what people are viewing or listening to at
Right.
that moment. And that purpose is the end result of your music and how you want it to go out there.
Absolutely, man. Unit E, man, I see you, man, and you're right, man, that viewers don't really like too much of the long form video stuff, and they're really into all the shorts and TikToks. And we allowed that to happen, right? Not only did we allow, and when I say we, I'm talking about like government entities and you know um, people that are kind of the puppet masters behind closed doors. And the reason for that is like when you look at it, there was a time in our world when the attention span was like maybe like 2.5 minutes or so. And I remember watching this thing count down, go to 1 minute. It went to 30 seconds. And I think I saw a white paper recently from one of the major universities, like it's in one of the Ivy League schools. And they were saying that the attention span now of this generation is 8 seconds. If you fail to get them in 8 seconds, they're like gone. So
It's rough.
yeah, yeah, it's rough. But the thing is, it really depends on the audience that you're trying to reach too. Because if you do it the right way, and yes, George, I see you, man, because we are going to have a lot more long form type videos. Viral and I got a lot of stuff planned for the future, and those things are important. Like depending on who your audience is, and believe it or not, there's plenty of people who are an older audience who actually still sit down and read books. I still read books. I don't just get on the internet and browse videos and listen to sound bites all day long. It's just I want to try to actually allow my mind to see the craft or work of somebody else and really sit there and process that work, and process what they've written and what they've shared.
Yeah.
So, we are a dying breed probably, but, we still got to, try to push that thing in the right direction, man. If we can keep some morals, keep some values, man, we live by a certain ethos, and that's that stuff is like kind of going to the wayside. But as long as there's a few of us still alive and living for that, we have an opportunity to pass it on.
Yeah, for sure. And this kind of goes back to the same thing that I was talking about, the generational thing and, potentially receiving the keys to the castle, so to speak. Everything's finite, everything is limited. And, it's just a matter of just this one last generation. And once after that, it's going to be all Gen X and younger. So like everybody in charge is going to be through this generation. So even though we may be the dying breed coming out here, as Sun said, we also have an obligation on our way out to make this what it needs to be in the way that we needed it to be from the beginning. Before we get going, speaking of audience, I want to get a couple of these shout outs in. Shout out to Dynasty over here. I've been meaning to put together this Ninth Wonder video for a minute, but I actually have it wedged into a much larger video, especially with the latest or whatever. But I see you out there. I know I'm not in the comment section as much. I try to be as active as possible, but I see you're still out there pushing the content, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for being here. And he's another one of us out here that's navigating his way through, and actually he's really done his due diligence on here as a company putting together his stuff and his brand, to where if you do a search of his name, his screen name right there on Google, everything will come up. And he did content on this, showing people, look, this is how you do it. And I did all this, and going through the entire process of it, like literally setting himself up as the artist, being the business. And that's like before really getting going on the content on this platform. So shout out to you, homie, for doing what you're doing. And I appreciate your content and what you're doing here. And if you're not subscribed to 005 Dynasty, go subscribe to his channel, because he's put in the effort and work, and has made the content that should be a lot further along. But it's like one of those things, us musicians here, our niche of a niche, we have to build all the way from the ground. And that's the thing about being on this platform for people who've been doing music their entire lives. It's difficult to go through that and run the gamut all over again, but just on a separate platform. And building from the ground up, you spend all these years building from the ground up, and YouTube's thought process is, oh, well, you already got it built, you should be able to import your audience to our platform. And that's just not how it works. It does for some people, but for people like us who have operated independently or took long breaks and just been producing on the sidelines for all these years, we all have to start from scratch, no matter how established we are. And even somebody who's been in the mainstream in the industry like Curtis King had to start from scratch, and he's barely starting to coming to his own with all the content he's been doing. And 10 years it takes a lot, and he's released a lot of albums and done a lot of viral content to get to that point, you know what I mean? And shout out to him because he's still subscribed to our channel. And he I had a conversation with him in T Sketch Beats when she was on cooking for like 4 hours last night while I was literally cooking and making my
Right.
my pico de gallo, and we had a conversation about his time here on the platform. And yeah, we're gonna make mistakes going through it, but we all see each other. We all know
Right.
and value each other as far as music and musicians go and music production. So we're only going to find each other and help each other through this.
Yeah,
Nobody or
absolutely.
no platform or nobody on here is going to do it for us. So it's up to us to kind of connect with one another,
Yep.
no matter how big, no matter how small. Unit E actually has a pretty big following. He's got like upwards of 10,000 subscribers. He's out in Hawaii. I don't mean to put your business out there, but it's all public.
No,
So,
no, put his business out
and
there. We need to have everybody's business out there when it comes to this because, hey guys, listen, something that I see a lot of and viral seen it too is that we need to all
put it out.
be able to lean on each other. You know what I'm saying? And we often don't do that. And by the way, shout out to Curtis King TV, my man. Keep doing your thing, man. Um, but we really do need to lean on each other. And I think that's a big problem in this space. It's been a problem in entertainment as a whole,
For sure.
where you can't lean on your peers, you can't lean on people you respect. A lot of times, people don't want to tell you how to do things. And I remember, now, just so you guys know, for those who don't know, I've kind of been in and out of the industry. I like to stay behind the scenes. I'm not really the kind of person that wants to be in a spotlight 24/7. I'm in here because this is my boy right here. We're gonna do this and we're gonna rock the set. The thing is that I'm a little bit older too, so we're talking like 40 years in the game, right? And I will tell you, I had a conversation with somebody that, by the way, they've got a bunch of Grammys on their shelf, okay, on their fireplace. The thing is that they shared with me how they didn't want to help other people. Literally, I don't want to help other people because, they're like, that's my secret sauce, that kind of thing, right? And the truth of the matter is, what I shared with them is like, that's not really the right way to look at this because, if you're worried about someone knocking you off or taking your spot, that's absolutely ridiculous. What you should be doing is trying to, evolve and take the music industry, entertainment industry, whether you're an actor, musician, whatever you are, is you want to go ahead and evolve this art form and keep it moving forward. And keep in mind, you're all going to get, older like me. You're all going to finally get so old, you're going to, your health's going to fail, you're going to die. And you
It's
took
gonna be
that to the
that.
grave with you when you could have shared it and you could have elevated our art. You know what I'm saying? Like, elevate the art. And that's what, so don't covet your skill sets. Like, if someone's trying to learn something from you, yo, each one teach one, man. Sit the person down. I would bring people into the studio. People want to learn how to use an MPC. They want to learn how to sample. They want to learn how to scratch, whatever. I bring them into the lab and be like, yo, sit down. Like, I'm gonna acknowledge you right now. And that's what I think we really need to get back to, is like that whole concept. Each one teach one. Let's build and let's evolve and let's elevate the art form. But we can only do that if we're gonna do that together, y'all. So
Definitely. Yeah, and I
that's just
feel
my
that.
2 cents.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking to what you were talking about too, like you don't want your secrets to die with you because what if you have something that only you have and you don't share it with anybody else? Then it does die with you, and then
Facts.
you can't do anything with it to have that legacy. Even if you don't want to leave a legacy, it doesn't matter. If you love the culture and you love the music the way that you do, depriving somebody of that love, in the future is just kind of, you know, the antithesis of the way that the universal demand of music works, you know, like just like you said, each one teach one, you know, that's a generational saying. And, you know, information, you know, it's free. You know, music doesn't have owners; it just has listeners. You know, it's kind of the same thing. You know, with that money thing. You know, it doesn't have owners, just spenders. You know, when it comes down to this, so you know, it just get in where you fit in, and you know, the protectionism of the you know, our generation is real guilty of that. You know, Gen X is real guilty of that protectionism, but that's because how things were the gatekeeping from when we were coming up and trying to figure it out. So once you get through those gates and you're like, well, hold on, you know, I made it through, and I really need to sit here and figure out who's going to get this information and who's not. And it's not up to us to decipher that. You know, you put the information out there and let people do what they will with it, misconceptions and all. You know, if there's any kind of thing that needs to be addressed, you address it head on. You know, you don't hide from it. So, and that's why we kind of brought this conversation about TikTok public, because it's more about the music element of things. And you know, damn the platform and the zeitgeist, you know, all the pain and suffering from losing your thing, and just, you know, figuring out that gotta job. You know, and that's the thing, like the question here that we were asking here, you know, kind of hypothetically, is like, if these platforms were to all go down at the same time, would you still exist musically? Would you still produce music? And who would you produce it for? And who would hear it? Do you already have an audience you could talk to? You know, I mean, we have all these things, and especially with the way that things are so shaky now, you know, there's a high probability of it getting worse and us being even more limited in our ability to create, as it's currently happening as we speak. So this suppression is going to keep going when it comes to the powers that be, especially if we're not playing by their rules and we're just trying to make the damn music over here. But we're over here and they're over there, so we need to stay over here and let the people over there know, hey, we exist within the space of this world regardless on whether you guys exist. But who is ready for that? Are you guys ready for that? You know, I mean, it would hurt us because all the time and effort we spent on this channel, but already knowing what we know and doing what we've done before, you know, I'll just go out there on the streets and do it locally, do the street musician thing or whatever. There's so many avenues and so many outlets that you could get your stuff together. But if you're not doing it all inclusive at the same time, then you're relying on these platforms. And if you're relying on these platforms and then they're not there the following day, you're going to lose it all, and then you're not going to be able to create the art that you like to create. And then where you're going to be then? You're going to be dying with your secrets because you weren't able to live, because you based everything off of what these platforms have to offer you, not what you have to offer these platforms. And it's up to you to say, hey, I'm not going to exist within this space the way they want me to. I'll take my ball and go play with these guys over here because they're all playing this mad advanced game of calculus dodgeball. You know, over here with this. So.
You know, and I was going to just address something that George said. George, I see you, man. You said I'm old school. I knock door to door. You know, I go and see, you know, and, you know, and bless DJs, right? That's a fact, man. Listen, you know, some of the young guys today, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, okay? So first of all, I'm not one of those haters and stuff like that. So please don't get that impression of me when I say this. But I'm not saying all, I'm saying some, not all, some. Some of the young cats that are out there right now, they want to, you know, just say, hey, you know what? All I do is this, and this is my only option, and it's option A and nothing else.
There is no plan B.
And so, no plan B, no plan C, no plan D. They're like, I'm not going to get a job. You know, it's going to mess up my dream and all this stuff. Now, so there's a couple of factors involved in saying that you only have one plan, right? Number one, you got to be really dope. Like, I mean, you can't be, you know, you can't be like, if you're a rapper, for instance, you can't be an average rapper. If you're a producer, you can't be the average producer and, like my man Knife Wonder, tink, 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 to tink, you can't really be that guy. You got to be dope. So first there's a talent element involved, right? But then there's also technical execution. There's business aspects of it. And you've got to be good at kind of all those things or have like a deeper sense of knowledge about it, right? And a lot of them, who are out there, there's plenty of people that rap, plenty of people that sing, plenty of people that, they got a lot of automated tools now and, they make beats. And I'm not saying they're not good beats. I mean, I think that some of the beats are cool, but keep in mind, all my old heads that are hearing me right now, how hard we had to work to learn how to be musicians. And, Viral knows this.
We're
How
still
hard we
trying to
had to
perfect things now.
work to create techniques to sample. Like, back when we were doing it, what is now easy inside of a, machine or on a computer for you to, use Serato Sample or Splice or TrackLib to get your samples. And then, you got the modern day MPC flows and all that stuff. Keep in mind, back in the day, we would be recording records down in the basement on a reel-to-reel, chopping those up, chopping them up smaller, putting them with tape onto actual cassette tapes, things like that. And actually making break beats like that. So, and I'm not saying that we got to go back to that because that I definitely wouldn't want to do that. But what I'm saying is that a lot of this stuff was earned. We worked really hard at it. And then you'll see like the really great producers even today, they're not making, and no diss to anybody, they're not making 5-10 minute beats here. These guys going to the lab, these men and women going to the lab, and, they getting busy in there and they getting nice with it. And they come out with like classic music, classics, stuff that's going to live on for generation after generation. So what I'm saying is always have another plan, right? And I'm not saying a fallback plan. I'm saying have a fall forward plan. Fall forward. Always be ready to, supplement your income, take care of your family, take care of your kids, because a lot of the youngsters got kids out there. While you're chasing your dream, you're not taking care of your babies. Okay, so be responsible people with that too. So, you got to have a plan forward. Okay. And like I said, it's not a diss. I'm not a hater, nothing like that. I'm not saying anything negative about you. I'm just saying you got to be thinking about all these elements, and you can still work in your dream. Most of the hip hop artists that you see, most of the singers that you see that are world famous, while they were working toward their dream, they all had jobs. Just so you know that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just real talk.
And speaking to Son's point here of all the things that you have together, that you have to have together, and the things that you need to develop over the years, the biggest thing, and especially here in the music industry, is relationship building. And the people that matters. And it's just like what Son said the last time we were on having a conversation. Never look at somebody as far as what they can do to help you along. Just acknowledge their talent and their contributions and what your contributions are, and bring those contributions together, and even if you don't come together that way musically, just having the conversation with the other person about music is helpful enough. There's people that are all walks of life. We all come from somewhere, and we all have different ways. We all have our own story, but we all come together under the guise of music and our passion for making that music. And as long as we put that, and our families first, then I think that there's no reason for any of us to lose out on any successes here. But if you're thinking about it from the perspective of, I got to build these relationships because that's what I got to do in order to gain this or to gain that, just shift that narrative to gain knowledge, to gain, respect, to gain, the experience that you need to develop and just enjoy your time with that other person, no matter who it is, what level they're at, and just don't forget to pop into the people's lives and conversations who are underneath where you have been, because you have been there, and all you wanted to do is talk to somebody who was up there and able to say, hey, you know what, just stick with it, and a lot of us weren't told that, especially in our generation. They said, nah, that shit's trash, quit
Right.
today, and those
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are called haters. And haters have a very distinct and specific set of communication tools that are very limited to the toolbox that they're in. While we're over here in this playground and understand things at more of a profound level, especially for with what we've gone through, and we just got to shed our skin from all that protectionism and ageism, and realize that there are a lot of young cats out here that are making great music. They just don't know what to do with it. They just don't know how to put it together once it's done, how to package it, how to tour it, and how to do whatever that we've already done before, that we could share our information rather than suppress it, to be able to say, hey, let's go, join the music club over here, the people who are
Hmm.
actually doing it, and there's toxic people just like there are anywhere, and you obviously don't want to bring those toxic people into the fold. But do you want to limit your ability to even help them? Because if you expose some of that, maybe they'll learn from it, and you got to share with everybody. Whether they're going to turn it into something toxic, that's on them. You just have
Yeah.
to put
Yeah.
yourself and your stuff out there, and just love the music and love everybody equally, and just keep it there. And then afterwards, you could start reaping the benefits. But even if you're not reaping the type of benefits you would want in the end game, the journey is the experience, not the end
Yeah.
result.
Absolutely.
Because the end
I
result
couldn't agree with
is
that
is
more.
what being done with it, right? We're
Yeah.
finite, and then that's it. You're like, okay, I made it to the end. Well, what's next? Passing on and leaving your legacy. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
you can't just
And
try to do that at the last minute. You got to do it along the
yes,
way on
along the
the
way, the
journey,
whole
for
time,
sure, the whole
helping people,
time.
And DL, you got me cracking up over here because you're like, he said, "Are we over the hill?"
Yes.
Man, we may not be over the hill yet, but I can tell you what, man, we probably at the top of the hill, looking over on the other side, though. You know, so yeah, so I agree with that, for sure. Um, Viral will tell you guys that when he and I met, it's crazy because obviously, he does music. And there's actually a lot of people that I've met in the industry over the last, like I said, 40 years or so. And some of them are very, famous people, right? They have a lot of money, they have fame, they have, awards and all this kind of stuff, and that's fine. But Viral will tell you that whether you're sitting high or you're sitting low, when it comes down to the way I build relationships with people, I care more about you as a human being. The first thing I'm going to do when we get into a conversation, I'm going to ask you about you. The next time we talk, I'm probably going to ask you, hey, how's your family doing? How's your wife doing? How's your kids doing? Or, how's your husband doing? If it's a lady, but that's real talk. Like we do not focus in on all the stuff about their accolades and, oh, I want to stand next to you and I want to get a picture. Let me get a video. There's plenty of times, and Viral and I talk about this a lot. I've been a lot of places with a lot of entertainers and people in the entertainment business. And, like everybody's running around, oh, can I get a picture? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm cool. I don't need a picture. Shake their hand, give them a pound, give them a hug, whatever, and say, hey, I really love what you do. And, keep doing your thing. And, and I'm out. It's all love, right? So, and I think that keeps us all on the humble, and it keeps us focused on what we're actually here to do, and that's make our music, do our entertainment, whatever it is, and master our craft. So,
And those are the best moments too. I think Method Man said it way back when, and they just got done doing a show, And you know, you got people, especially during the time when Wu-Tang was popping real heavy, you know, coming up, you know, taking pictures, asking for autographs or whatever, and he's just walking, talking on camera. Somebody just getting that good shit. Move along, just that interaction. And he said, "See
Yeah,
that
that's
right
real.
there?" He said, "I live for that. I live for that shit. That's the reason why I do this. Is those interactions right there. Just
Yeah,
give a pound, keep it pushing." You know, and later
yeah.
on in life, you know, if you guys are both on a music path, that you know, you'd be surprised what this universe does in the music, you know, to
Right.
bring those people back together. Because I'm sure Son can attest to this. You know, those people re-enter your life. You know, if you have a
Really, really do.
person that you've met and you connected on and you're just not there for whatever reason, the universe will connect you guys when it's time. And then you end up in conversations like, yo, I know you. Like, yo, we've known each other for a while. Yo, I
Mhm.
remember that. It's like, and you're like, oh, that was 10 years ago. It's like, damn, you know, small world. It's a
Yeah.
small world of music people. And if you're really, you know, pure with your intentions and you're doing things the right way, we all find each other no matter how. And we will
We
still
find our
find each
tribe.
other
Our
after all
tribe.
these platforms are gone, no matter what.
Yep, we find our tribe. You know, and it was interesting. So, hey, let's do a little poll, Viral. So who's going to NAM 2025
Oh,
this
yeah.
coming
This
week?
this coming the day
Anybody?
after tomorrow. Is it the day after
Yeah.
tomorrow or is it tomorrow? Tomorrow or the day after? Is that
Yeah,
Tuesday?
so I think it starts on Wednesday
Is
to
it?
Saturday.
Yeah, because it's until the 25th, right?
Right, until Saturday. Yep.
Uh,
They're gonna end it at around 6 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh, let me.
Uh,
I didn't give
so,
DL a shot here.
yeah, man. DL been in here for a minute, man. I was like, I was getting
Sorry,
ready
man.
to
We're
tell
out
you,
here
man.
blabbing over
Have
here, you
everybody
know,
out,
getting
man.
back and forth. But yeah, you know, I would love to go to NAM this season, but it's just not time. And you know what the crazy part is? 2022 was the first time in all my years of production after having my degree and everything like that, first time going to NAM because it was the first time I had a reason to go to NAM. It's kind of like that produce with intent and do everything intentionally. You know, I have intentionally not gone to NAM because I had no reason to. I hopped on YouTube afterwards and started things, met some people, and we decided collectively that we were going to meet at NAM. And you know, I organized some jam and we got it going. You know, Destructo helped a couple people like Akira Gold and everybody come along, and we did the damn thing. You know, and it was
Mhm.
great. You know, but I haven't been to NAM since. I kind of wanted to go this time around, but and I still do, but you know, wants and needs and intent and everything. We got a lot of stuff going on over here, and I'm semi excited because it's kind of been in our ear what potentially may occur, you know, and I'm excited for NAM this year in a way that I wasn't last year, and I think that this time around they are going to attempt to kind of make up for the lackluster NAM that happened last time. And you know, people all did
Yeah.
content on it, and I think the people at NAM, the organizers, really paid attention to the way that people received the NAM show. We here on the channel will do our regular thing. We'll probably do a video or two about it. We'll probably go live and talk about it a bit, you know, just because we're nerds. But it's just like
Yeah.
what I said before. Like, we don't gush about equipment like that. We love our tools, and you know, being in the market for other tools that may or may not be released is something that it's pretty exciting because you have that in within the project you're developing, and that's what I'm excited for. But whatever potentially may happen out of this, and if we get one of those new pieces of equipment that may be coming out, we're also going to be getting rid of it promptly when we're done with
Yeah.
the album.
Yeah. Pretty
So
much.
like, and
Pretty
that's
much.
it.
Yeah.
And even if
And
we
the
need
best
another
part
one,
about
we'll buy another one when the time comes
yeah.
if we need it again. You know, it's just
And the best part about that is being able to get equipment like that and then pass it on to other people who they also need to, you know, and want to learn it and develop some dope project. But hey, guys, listen, I see some of the comments. Yeah, maybe we can all plan to try to go down there together and meet up. I think that'd be great for the ones for next year. I at first was not going to go. So for those who don't know, about what is it now, Viral? Like 7.5 weeks ago, I got admitted to the hospital and I died on the table for like 2.5 minutes. So that was some of the best sleep I ever got.
You look
You know?
fantastic, by the way, for somebody
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
literally
man.
died
Thank
just a few
you,
weeks
man.
ago.
Man, I've been working on my complexion a little bit. Like, no, but
The lighting
yeah,
helps.
so that's just life, right? We don't know what's gonna happen in life, and you know, you just don't know, man. We here one minute, we gone the next. And that's why we really do have to, cherish the time that we have with one another, as peers, right? And as part of the same tribe, but at the same time, obviously be focused on your family, be focused on, your loved ones, because, that at the end of the day, that's all that matters really, is the relationships we have, guys. Not like who we are, not titles, not money, not, accolades, or even, posture in this society, right? But it's just the relationships that we have. Um, then I was going to do let's do another poll here, Viral.
An
Um,
unofficial
how many
non-poll.
people are going to try in 2025 to monetize
Yeah.
on a YouTube channel?
Or any other platform for that
Or
matter
yeah,
too. Yeah,
or
yeah.
multiple platforms. Who's going to be monetizing? And I know some people already do. So for those people who figured out the formula, this may not be for you, that question. But everyone else, who's trying to monetize this year?
Shout out to Andy too, Synchrotron. He just made his 1,000, and I asked him. I said, "You gonna monetize?" He's like, "I don't really want to do that." And like, we would love to give you some super chats when you do.
Yeah, man, monetize. If you get those 1,000, subscribers, why not, right? I mean, think about it, right? You should monetize if you have the subscriber base, because honestly, YouTube, they owe it to you, right? I mean, think about this. YouTube is getting all types of great, beautiful content. Yep. And yeah, and definitely Unity. I know you already do, man. And that, like I said, when Viral told me you had like, 10K plus subscribers, I was like, this man better be monetizing.
He said it took him 16 years. He said that in the chat. I don't know if you see me earlier. He said it took him 16 years to build up to
Yeah.
where he's at today with his, and he has a really good channel too, by the way. I would love to see you live stream. I kind of
Yeah.
put that out there because he's like, what do you guys want to see out of here? And it's like, yeah, these. I think the future of this platform in particular, when it comes to YouTube and our niche of music over here, I think most of it is the live streaming. I think this is where it's at because it's the most human experience. And
Absolutely.
us, in this superficial world of making music, we need that humility, especially when our community comes together and we all get to talking about things. And I want to get this before I forget, kind of speaking to your point of your near-death experience. Well, your death experience that just wasn't permanent
Yeah.
death.
I don't
But
so guys, also before Viral says what he's gonna say, um I had an incredible experience in death, but I want to tell you something. Please don't try that at home or anywhere else. Okay. Yeah, you could just avoid that one.
yeah, and I was talking in the chat with the T Sketch Beats because she was talking about some of her issues with her spine, and I had
Mm.
mentioned that 4 years ago I had 11 herniated discs. I was walking around in a walker and a cane. My wife and I were homeless during that time. That was one of the things because I was totally out of the picture, not being able to work. But we were living on the streets during the time that I was living like that. As far as my spine goes, I didn't think I would ever be able to walk again because I had one herniated disc when I was 33, and that took 8 months of intense uh, rehabilitation to be able to bounce back, but I still have permanent and herniated again. And, I still have lowers and stuff like that. So it started off with 7, then evolved to 11. And when you are so helpless to where you can't even really put your pants on without help, or take a shower, or do the basics in life. I couldn't even pick up our son, which was devastating for me
Yeah.
emotionally. It really got the gears turning up here as far as what to do. And even without COVID, would have still ended up on this platform, realizing the limitations in our physical bodies, and understanding that I had something to contribute to the space, and something to contribute to the people around, even though I couldn't go out there and jump up and down on stage. you know um, there's something that you could do within this space with the talent you have, no matter what level you're at, to be able to help somebody along. And if your purpose is to help somebody along, whatever potential benefits and rewards come out of it will come. But don't do it for
Yeah.
that reason. Do it for the reason of not only selfishly it makes you feel good, but the way that it makes somebody else feel, and the trajectory that it places them on, even if it's just something small here, it's beneficial.
Yeah.
And the way that the person who receives the information, I've been on the receiving end of a lot of help throughout this YouTube channel. I
Yeah.
would
Same.
not be able to exist within this space at all without help. So don't forget, when you need something, to make sure that you put it out what your needs are. You may not, you know, get what you want, but what you want, is it really what you need? But if you
Right.
think with the
Exactly.
mind frame of what you need and what your needs are, it's like I've said, and I beat this down. You'll get exactly what you need, how you need it, when you need it, and nothing
Hmm.
less. But if you don't, you're not ready, and there's something else to do.
Right.
Most of the time, that other thing to do is just talking and collaborating with other people, and expressing your music and your talent and what you have to offer, to the best of your ability, and it'll come. It'll come no matter when. Time is one of those things. It may be
Time.
expensive, but it's
And we can't get it back. So, keep that in mind, guys. Time is precious.
but what
And
exists beyond time and space is music. Music is timeless, and if you're making
it-
timeless music, then how does that affect the finite
right, right.
limitations of time? It is a balancing act, and it's difficult. It is convoluted as hell, and it takes us all these years of experiencing this to try to
Yeah.
figure it out. And I feel that I'm barely figuring things out at 43, having done it my whole life. And yeah, and a lot of people
Takes
in our
time, man.
generation are at that same point with it. They're like, yo, I've been, kind of on shaky ground trying to figure it out. But once you get there with it, and you're there with it, things change completely. And those changes have been very visible on this channel. And everything that has been going on here has to do with the relationships that we have built musically, not just as a channel. It's not about the numbers, it's not about the subscribers, even though I love you guys, but I genuinely love you guys because I know you guys. I don't have to worry about who's subscribed, whether or not they're public. I know that who subscribed is subscribed for the same reason why I'm doing this to begin with. And that's just all the benefit we need over here. But the happy accident that has come from that is receiving all the benefits from these relationships, with the help that we've got that we didn't ask for, but the people saw that we needed it, and it came along when it needed to come along, and we got to experience some monumental, life-changing moments here on the channel
Hey,
that could never be taken away from us, that exist within our memories for a lifetime.
yeah, and I first of all, sustained. I concur. Absolutely, man. Right. I just wanted to say to Unity real quick. Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad to be here too. Um, for those that didn't hear the story, when I was in the hospital, my wife actually she like slapped me in the head because she actually works at the hospital where I was at, and So when she found out I died, she first checked and asked if I was okay before she proceeded to, crack me upside the skull one time, and then she walked out. And then the nurses had the nerve to be chiming in, and the doctors, and they were like, well, I would have did the same thing to my husband, and all this kind of stuff. I was like, man, you guys' bedside manners are atrocious, man. This is what kind of hospital is this? But it is, this how life is, man. And also, George, take care of yourself, man. I saw your comment about your pacemaker, man. And yeah,
Oh,
we all got different moments, conditions going on throughout life. And from cradle to the grave, keep in mind, from the moment we're born, the first breath we take, we're on our way to the other side, right? But man, I wouldn't change anything about this life. Not a single moment. With
yeah.
all the good times, all the bad
All the
times, all
bad
the in
times
betweens,
too. Yeah, and that's the
would not
thing.
change it.
I think a lot of people, especially the pain that we feel because us musicians, we feel it so much more intensely. And, especially when a source of revenue is cut off from you, like TikTok, if you're like, oh man, I'm not going to get, even if it's a small percentage or whatever, just the potential of understanding that that could be taken, this could be taken, that could be taken. It's just one of those things, you know. Us existing here and doing what we do, you got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've said this before, um, it's the bad things that occur to us that really shape our existence. So even though you may not agree with it or enjoy the particular experience, like what we're dealing here with our neighbors bullshit, it's all cohesive. It all has to do with the growth and the development and the process and existing within the process and enjoying the process, even if it's not so enjoyable, is just something to take in and ingest and understand, like, hey, this has the potential of making me great as far as a musician goes, and making the music, because the pain makes for great music, and one of the things here as far as like my back goes was that spinal issue. It made me a better producer because I had to sit there, as much as sitting there is what helped cause the spinal issues eventually. I had to go back and sit back down, and once I did that and was like, okay, well, let me just play with some of these knobs and do some of this and develop a little bit. That development throughout that process and the relationships that have been established and explored and expanded on since then, that is the life. That is all you need. And loving that and existing within that space is just, it's so profound. And, when you're in that space of creativity, that's when you make the timeless music that you could pull out all those years later and say, I'm going to perform this song. And then they're like, hey, did you just make that? Nah, that's like 10 years old. Like EA Ski's Ice Cube song, that It's My Ego. That song was
Yeah,
made 10 years ago, and it's it's gone through and gone viral, been reacted on, and all that other stuff. 10 years old, because proving once again, music is timeless and relationships
absolutely.
are everything.
And I think you just like saying the word viral,
Yeah,
man.
getting that
Nah,
plug
man.
in. Make sure you get that
You,
plug in.
do you know what I was thinking we should do one day? Maybe some of the fellas can chime in, and maybe you guys would be willing to even participate on a much larger Zoom call, or a chat, like a video call. We should do a Tiny Desk concert viral,
Yeah.
like do our own version of a Tiny Desk concert, and I mean actually do performances, like and yo, real talk, man. We'll both pick up the mic and do our thing, man. So
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah, I'm
mean, of
looking
course,
forward
we're
to
gonna
that
have our
one.
own production too. So
I'm looking
you know,
forward to that one. And we were
and
also
guys, I
talking
don't know.
before.
I just wanted to say real quick, Byron, not to cut you off, bro, but I wanted to tell the guys, hey, like, so if you guys, for those who like boom bap, that's what I do. So let's we can knock some of those out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we were talking about doing like a larger expanded Zoom, like a chat like this sometime too. And we're just kind of getting the shaky details worked out, kind of like how we started here, you know, wondering whether or not our audio was good to make sure that we were
Exactly
going
right.
out there the right
And
way, you
Unity
know?
said he's down, but Unity, man, we're trying to make sure nobody gets an echo, like Hanzo.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, you know. We're all just trying to navigate through this stuff. Some of us are more experienced than others. Some of us know more people than others. Some of us, you know, are just starting out. Speaking of Apollo, he's like a year in playing keys, and I spoke to him, and I'm not going to reveal too much or whatever, but we got something cooking for the near future here that's going to be it's
Yeah.
going to be out of the blue seemingly,
Oh
but
yeah, we definitely got those pro accounts there, Unit. Hey, and
for
so
sure.
look, I'm gonna make it. I'll make an admission, and I normally don't, but I'll make the admission. So viral, I'm gonna tell them. So actually, guys, I'm pretty good at troubleshooting some things too, man. I'm
Here we
actually
go.
a software engineer, man. I've been doing work in the IT world for like literally 38 years of my life. So yeah, yeah. So I know I don't look it. I probably look like I know no diss to my favorite people. I love sanitation workers. I probably look like a trash man or something, but
Yeah, you want to talk about numbers in the zeitgeist and algorithmic details and everything like that. You're talking to somebody who programs ridiculous code, and it's funny because little Tussin was so surprised to hear that, because he's getting into his MIT Scratch stuff to where he's learning coding. And once he found out that Sun does code, I was on the phone with him and I said, hold on, hold on. I said, not only does Sun code, but he codes ridiculously. And then I just went into this elaborate detail for him, and his eyes, I was like, yeah, so get there with it. And maybe one day you'll be next to
yeah,
somebody like him to be
man.
able to
Hey,
talk to him
and
and understand the language that he
gotta
speaks.
push these kids, push them.
8 years
You know,
old, yo.
yeah, and Lil Tussin, man, that's my dude right there, man. He still got a lot to learn, obviously, but that's my little dude right there, man. He doing his thing. Smart kid,
He's
brilliant.
currently outside with his friend and his keyboard and that syntheset, making music with his friend
Yep.
right now, right outside this window. 8 years old. So, and that's just a happy accident of being, me and being one of us.
Absolutely,
He's a one
man.
of us too, his older brother is,
Totally.
they're doomed, genetically to be musicians no matter what.
Absolutely, man. They
Not just
gonna
because
hey,
of me, but the
this is our
family
tribe,
bloodline.
man.
So we got to
This is our
encourage
tribe.
that in our kids, but even in our adults, like Apollo, who's only a year in, and I've I've only known him for a short while as far as things go, but we exchanged numbers and we were on a 2.5 hour phone call just a few days ago, and it's just one of those things. He's like, man, it's a long call. I was like, oh, you don't know. I've put in 9 hour conversations before. I put in 9 hour conversations, get off the phone for like an hour and a half, and put in another 6 with the same person. Like
Yeah.
we don't just
Um,
talk on this space because we talk on this space. When we get to talking about this, when we get to talking
oh
about
yeah.
music,
It's
when we start
endless.
getting,
The
it's
conversation's
done.
endless.
It's done. It's endless. It's endless. It's just like the timelessness of music. These
Yeah.
conversations, we could spend all this time talking to each other and never even once mention anything about
That's
ourselves or our
true.
personal
And
lives.
you know what's great? Like it's sort of like when we go to the NAM show, guys. That's why we all love going to the NAM show. Let's see, I've been to 25 NAM shows. So this would be year 26 that I'd be going if I go again, right? So I will tell you, a lot of people are like, well, they go there for, just, business stuff or, vendor stuff. And I do go there for that. Don't get me wrong. I go there for business. However, here's the thing. I go there because it is our tribe. They exist there. When you go to NAM, and now here's a poll. How many of you make music and then your family members don't really support you? They don't really want to, hear your
All of
music.
us.
They might not even think your music's
All of
good
us.
while everybody else thinks you're dope, right? And they don't like my brother, like this guy, my brother, I'm super close to my brother. And my brother told me like this. He goes, man, son, I love that you make music, but I'd rather hear the finished product. I don't care how you make it. I don't care, like what the process is. I don't want to hear any of that stuff, So how many of you go through similar things like that? But see, when we go to NAM, that's our tribe, and we are able to have conversations, and we don't have to explain ourselves. Everyone at NAM understands what we're talking about. They understand what we're going through. They understand the struggle. They understand every aspect of it, and we are at peace when we go there. So I go there it's almost like a vacation for me, away from my family and other people in the world, because I can go there and everybody can get it. And George, what did you say? Let's see. Oh, word. Yeah, that's what's up, man. You gotta come out to the one that's out in Cali, man, in Anaheim, man.
Sure.
I think you would really, really enjoy that, man.
And the thing is, too, like speaking to what Son has said, my experience at NAM was so profound, not only because of the event that took place with what we put together, but the biggest thing was meeting in person these people that I've been speaking to for years within this space, and meeting them in person. That wasn't the profound moment. Was the profound moment was having the conversations, and like we've known each other for years, because we have.
Exactly.
But it's just like really known each other. Like Nor's like, bring it in. I had a couple conversations with Ben Jordan, and that was after a little tussing, in the tardigrades and stuff like that, and it's so great to have these moments, and it's the kind of stuff that'll travel with you through your journey, to where you could share these experiences, and it's not like sitting up on this pedestal like, yo, I had this experience, one day you'll have it. It's we're all having this experience
Definitely.
together, and sharing
Together.
these experiences just reminds people on how beautiful this music thing really is, and
And
how great it is to have these established relationships just
it's
feed
so dope.
into that and make this timeless music, to where you're just like, and me and Son were like, we were on the phone earlier, and listening to beats or whatever, and it's just like, oh damn, like, and even
Yeah. Yeah.
yesterday and the day before, he's got something cooking. I'm like, yo, slap me that beat. I want to. He's like, oh wait, I already got
Yeah.
something
We
to it. Let me give it to you
still
when I'm
working on it.
done with it.
Yeah,
Like he
still
was already
working on it a
there with
little
it.
bit. But yeah, man, hey George, and by the way, you need to shout some people out, bro. But George, man, I definitely, man, I think it'd be cool if we all stay, in closer touch. Maybe we'll start like an email chain or something like that, and let's all start saving up that money for flights and all that kind of stuff, flights, hotels, all that stuff for next year. I think it'd be great if we all ended up going to NAM together. Viral and I are definitely going together.
Yeah, we got a big thing
We
planned
we,
for
we
next
probably
summer.
gonna have like some kind of crazy suite. Me and him, we're gonna be making an album, like right in a hotel with people.
And
So
we're going to be fresh
let's get
off
ready.
of new albums that are just out then. So let me
Yeah,
get these shout outs in here, because
yeah. Go ahead, brother.
we got Tone Smith. So we got, what was the other one? Mr. Space. Got anybody else? So yeah, when it comes to this whole thing, and coming to the realization when all is lost, that I gotta get
Oh,
a
yo,
shout.
man. Don't forget that boom at the top studio, man.
So what's up?
Got my man Boom at top studio.
Where we at? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Room at the top studio. Bless. Sorry about that. You know, my old eyes see from far away on the cell phone when I'm looking down. I don't have it pulled up here on the screen because my screen is what's going out to you guys, and I'm broadcasting on this
Hey,
end.
that's why
So
I had to get
if
that
I
that
miss
that
you, I get
LASIK
back in.
stuff, man.
So thank you guys for being here. Yeah, if there's any questions or anything you guys have, I think we're good to wrap this conversation up. I just
Yeah.
wanted to, we wanted to get on here and share the conversation we were having with you guys because, this space here, YouTube has been around since the beginning. And one thing I wanted to, touch down on here was Tone Smith. He says, I'm not even ready to stream or post videos regularly, but I'd love to eventually do that. Yeah. And it doesn't take long to get going with that. And as long as, the right community, like a lot of this stuff with OBS and, Zoom and stuff like that, this stuff is all figured out on the fly because this is not the music. This is not, but it's a part of communicating within this
Right.
space. But like these details are easily figured out real quick. All we got to do is have a correct signal flow and be able to put it out there right for you guys as far as things go. And it doesn't take long to get started with that. If I could impart any words of wisdom for just starting, the way that we got comfortable with it and learning everything as far as putting streams out and trial and error, we streamed every night for several hours at a time. We just cooked on the
And that's
Phantom,
real.
flipped the coin, did a random number generator, and just went to town and did whatever. Later on down the road, we started getting cluttered up with too many beats and eventually had to make those into albums. But we did that and we did it live, and that just produced more live streaming and more events. So, if you're doing the music, you'll have the content to stream no matter what you're doing or what level you're at. And it takes a short time, maybe a couple conversations or trying to, link up with somebody else who understands the space to get it going. It really doesn't take much at all. But yeah, we really just wanted to share this conversation with you guys because these are the conversations that Son and I have on a regular basis. We're some early to rise West Coast motherfuckers up in here talking,
And we
talking
really
about
are.
calling each other at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we
We're like,
do,
yo,
man.
we're
We
up.
do. And
We're
and
up.
we be getting after it too. Like guys, like when we get on calls that early, believe me, we talking some real stuff, man. We getting after it because there's no time, man, for sleep, man. Sleep is, like my man Nas said, sleep the cousin of death, man. So
Yeah.
let's get after it.
Yeah. And another thing I would like to say out there that don't be hesitant. Don't be hesitant to share. Don't be hesitant to communicate. Don't be hesitant to involve yourself, no matter how big they are. And that's one thing that I've been learning on this side here. I was totally inconsiderate of the people that I've grown up to love in music, like Redman, and these people that exist and have existed, and they exist within this space too. And a lot of times they'll talk to you if you just pop up in the chat.
Yeah,
Sometimes
man.
they'll just heart it.
Shout out, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Reggie Noble, man. I was just listening to Muddy Waters 2 this morning,
We
man,
were
just
actually
to
just bumping it on the
get some
stream when we were
inspiration.
testing this whole thing. And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
put
no
it on,
doubt.
and we just jammed out real quick. Okay, we
Say
got the
him and
audio correct.
Heck yeah, man. Because shout out Brick City, man. Stand up,
Yeah.
So all love, man. And Vio, like I always, man. Thanks for having me on with you, man. And I of course I enjoy these with you guys, all of you guys. And we'll definitely be doing more. So guys, keep an eye out for it. We got a lot more in store for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you, son, for I don't know, God, I mean, if I were to thank you publicly for everything, I don't even know where to start with this. You are
Riverside,
such.
brother.
We got a little inside thing going on here, but yeah, you have been such a valuable asset of an individual who has been involved in my life, and I just profoundly thank you for that because You know,
Welcome,
even though
brother.
it's kind of like what you said, you know, about family and stuff like that and friends, you know, nobody's going to be friends to the level that we're at, because the understanding with the way that we think about things and the way that we flow with this music thing, it's already there. So there's none of that explanation that
Right,
needs. So we just
right.
cut straight to business, and the business is the humility of it. So that business is
Mhm.
the love, that business is the personality, that business is, you know, all of this, and it's our conversations, you know, and we just wanted to bring this positivity to this dark time, and you know, literally dark time for TikTok. But you know, things in this world are potentially going to get a lot darker, and we need to shed some light not only on, you know, the situations that are occurring around us, but how to navigate through all this madness, because we're only going to survive with each other. And you know, being
Definitely.
in competition with one another, hating on one another, and talking all that madness, you know, go ahead and do all that, just know that we'll be over here. You know, we're not going to take our ball and go home, but we are going to play over here in this playground. And you know, come join us at the playground, and you know, play in the sandbox
Yes,
with us.
sir.
You know, get
Yes,
in,
sir.
and we'll start having these moments too, to where we all got these little inside things going on. You know, when I see Destructo in the chat, you know, I just put one little emoji, and that's it. You know, and then we never talk through the rest of the chat now, because we both know what's up. So, you know, so
Shout out Destructo.
yeah, shout out to the homie for sure. So
Yes,
yeah, is
indeed.
there anything else you guys want to talk about here with the whole thing? Let's just face it. Sorry, I'm just going through here and checking out some of the things. The hate on people with gear is real. Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah,
But you know
yeah.
what?
Not
All that
lying.
stuff doesn't really affect, you know, our way of doing things, and you know, it's not going to stop the music from being made for sure. You know, and if those people are around your space, try to get them away from your space, because
Yeah.
even though we had the moment to where NPC Gate started because of our video here, we haven't had that type of negativity on this channel around this space. Maybe one or two people every now and again, but it is really all about the music and all about the love, and we retain you know, our subscribers, because you know, we're all here for the right reasons, and not here to downplay any of this, and we're not going to hide from these real conversations, especially when it
Hmm.
comes to the impact that it has on other people that do in music, because this is the life, and this is where we're at with everything. And Lil
You know
Tuss is
what?
coming
And I
in.
was just going to add one last thing for me. Obviously, I want you to close it out there, Var, but I was going to say that everybody who's a creative person, you know, whether you're doing music, you know, if you draw, paint, whatever, you know, oh, snap, Destructo's in here.
No, he
Oh,
be
snap.
lurking
What's up, man?
extraordinaire. He's always in here.
Uh,
He's even in
the
here when he ain't
masterful
in here.
lurker, right? Yeah, but I was just gonna say, guys, like one of the things that I wanted to encourage you all about is, you know, when you're making your music, just make your music. I mean, obviously, you need to know some of the basics. You know, have a little bit of music theory. You know, understand what key you're playing in, and you know, master those basic elements. But really make the music you love to make. Okay, um, you may not be making the popular sound or whatever the case may be, but the point is that you make your sound, you put your music out there, you put your craft out there, and you never know, you might change the entire equation of how the world perceives your music. And so just do your own thing, guys, and don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to make your vibe, your sound. Okay. And I see you, little Tussin.
You hear
What's
that?
up, man?
He says, "I see you, Lil Tussin. What's up?" I'm gonna give Lil Tussin the final word here, and before I do, let me give Destructo his proper greeting, because we gave everybody else their greetings, and when he does pop up in our chat over here, you know how we do, and we go a big round of
Hey.
He always It's a big one. And you guys will know Destructo's our super wrench resident in the house. And oh wait, I remember that is an offensive term across the pond. So he is our super moderator, is what we should say. Even though he's not across the pond, some people here, little Tussin just coming out from the below froze. It's like 30 here as a high today. So you got the final word here. What do you got to say here, little Tussin?
Take it away.
I don't feel like giving the final word. I just want to tell you something, Dad.
Okay, what is that? I guess he wants to make it private, though. Okay, go over here. We're going to end the stream over here.
No, I don't mind making it public because it's just my hands freeze. I could barely feel my hands when I came.
Oh, God, they're so cold. Put them on your face.
I could barely feel them when I came inside.
Go warm your hands up at the fireplace, son.
Hey, see, and look, hey, Destructo, man. I'm glad you're here too, man.
Appreciate you,
And
man, for sure.
brother, one of these days we got to get on a three-way call with you, me, and Viral. I would love to do that, man. That would be a lot of fun. We definitely got a lot to talk about with music. So,
And to answer your question, Apollo, we don't use CapCut here. That is what editing is. That the editing thing?
yeah, video editing software.
So what we use here on this side, we use DaVinci Resolve. We used to use Adobe before that. As far as graphics go, we use Adobe Express. To stream, we use OBS. To do this this thing right here, we use Zoom instead of Streamlabs because it's a lot more reasonable as far as the cost goes. And yeah, you know, those are our streaming tools as far as this goes over here. Yes.
Speaking
we
of
also
this CapCut
use
thing
Riverside.
from a couple seconds ago, I actually use CapCut.
Not anymore, son. TikTok is down. CapCut is dead for now, anyway. But yeah, you know, I really appreciate and love all of you guys and gals over here. You got to remember, there's a lot of females in this
Yeah.
space that the suppression algorithms are real, and they're real heavy on females in music. And you know, there's a lot within the space. Shout out to T Sketch Beats, who was in, and Tyra White was in there too.
Sketch.
She's also a good creator. Sarah Tuel. There's a lot of them within the space
Sarah.
that are really, really great people and music people. And shout out to her. She's been subscribed to the channel a while too. You know, the music people here within this space, no matter how big their subscriber base is or what their accolades are or their credentials in music, we all find each other, and these people are a lot more supportive than the average person out here, especially within this space, actually
Indeed.
thinks. And there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that has always gone on behind the scenes in music that people don't realize that carries on to musicians existing here in the space of YouTube. So just know, if you're just starting out and you're getting going here and you kind of want to find your place as doing music here within this space, you're not alone. It's a large community, and as small as the niche is, you know, we are just so tight here. And you know, I could say without flinching, I would give my life for Destructo and Son too. You know what I mean?
Man,
I'm
same, right back
that
at you, man.
close to them to where I would sacrifice myself and put myself in harm's way if it meant saving them. You know, and
No doubt.
to have
Exactly,
one person
right
that
back
you have
at
a
you, man.
relationship like that is profound, but to have two within the space over here, I guarantee there's several of you out here that I will have this opinion and belief about in the future. But these two guys here, whenever you see them, say hello. Say hello, because they're the realest people you will ever meet, and they're the best friends you could ever have, especially
Appreciate
in
that.
this business. So I
And
love
same
you
for
guys
this,
for
same
sure.
for this man right here, man. Big love for Viral and his family. And you know,
Yeah.
I think because we approach it as real people, you know what I mean? We're real people. We're just like you. We're not any more special. You know, we all come from different backgrounds and, you know, finance and all that stuff and whatever you call it. But, you know, we're all just people. Are you still on, man? Because
Yeah. Yeah,
Your
sorry
sound.
about that. I was talking
Cool.
a little Tussin over
Oh,
here.
okay, okay, right,
He was
right,
trying to
right.
interrupt me while you were talking, and I was trying to tell him just wait, because he's trying to turn the fireplace on. You got to use the thermostat up there. I will show you in a minute here. We're wrapping up here, son. I will tell you in a minute. Higher is where you go. You know exactly the switch. Just flip it over
And
to
see,
the right. Just flip
that's
it
the
over to
real
the
part
right hand
right
side
here.
there.
You got
There you go.
kids, you got family. You gonna get
Yes,
that,
just
man.
do
That's
it
how
all the
this
way.
goes.
It's fine.
And
It'll
I
turn on.
love
It'll
that.
kick on. I'll turn it down later. Yeah, to 90. Go ahead. Shoot it to 90. We're good. It's a gas
Oh, man.
fireplace. Nobody cares. We're all good. Anyways.
Hey, and you know, and honestly, hey,
Shh. Hey.
viral man, I was gonna say, man, listen, and I mean, hey, don't and just don't be discouraged, everybody, about these platforms and stuff. I mean, the very worst case scenario, you got to get a job.
Gotta get a
So it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
That's going to be the theme of it, you know, when you realize that, you know, and that's the thing. Are you going to have a job in sanitation, or are you going to be able to just port your music over and exist within the space and actually do work and have a job within music? If you put all your
Absolutely.
eggs in one basket and rely on the powers that be that exist within a space that you'll never be in, you know, you got to realize that, you know, all this stuff is limited, and it's due to go down any time now. And, you know, with the unpredictability of our future, especially within this country here, you know, it's coming. You know, the dark days are coming, but, you know, there's light at the end of that tunnel, and there is light throughout all this darkness. And, you know, these shining moments are really the things that, you know, personally I live for. And, you know, these relationships are what keep me going and making this music. So that's why it's kind of the imparted wisdom that, you know, I leave on anybody is the relationships are the most important, you know, no matter what,
Definitely.
because, you know, they mean everything, you know. So anything else?
I think that's it, man. Other than everybody come join me in Viral and our families when we move to Thailand. So
Yeah, for the way Sarah's talking, we'll be seeing her there too.
apparently we're all going to Thailand. So we'll see you there, guys.
Love you guys. We'll just keep watching this space. We'll be on here as long as this platform exists, and we'll keep doing the damn thing. And we'll do more of these in the future as far as our conversations go. We got big plans, but through these big plans, these small things happen, and that's all this is. It's just a little small thing, you know, whether or not it's
Step at a
temporary or
time.
how temporary it is. You know what's permanent? The music is permanent. It's timeless, and these relationships exist forever.
Absolutely.
Whether or not they last, you know, that's not the goal here. The
We
goal here is
got to put the effort behind it. That's all.
Yep,
We got to put the effort behind it. I
just
mean, you know, all relationships are give and take, man.
for sure.
So,
All right,
and if you really love people, there it is, right? All right.
take
Hey,
care,
guys.
everybody.
You guys take care. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep, love you guys. Peace out, y'all.
Peace, guys.